At this point, the story of Shozo Kaga leaving Intelligent Systems is pretty well known. Upon some disagreement with the direction of Fire Emblem, Mr. Kaga was fired/left the company. We're not entirely sure of the reason why he left, or if he was fired, or if he just quit, but what we do know is that he still had a passion for strategy RPG. Closely following his departure from IS, Kaga joined a team that developed Berwick Saga, a Fire Emblem-like that stuck to the 2D graphics of the older games despite being on the PS1, a system capable of fully rendered polygons. A lot of people have talked about TRS up to this point, and it has an amazing English translation, and I would recommend any fan of Fire Emblem to play this game at least once. But following TRS, Kaga and company put out Berwick Saga, Berwick Saga, Lasberia Chronicles Chapter 174. Commonly referred to as just Berwick Saga. This game is why we are here today. The story is great, from what I've read so far at least. The translation only covers about half the game so far, so I haven't had the opportunity to experience the whole thing yet. The game follows Reese and his knights in their quest to defeat the evil Ray's Empire. It is honestly pretty typical Fire Emblem fare, except that it feels a bit grittier. Many people would probably say that it is darker, but I don't think that quite describes it. I feel that it is just as lighthearted as most Fire Emblems, but the story just feels a little more down to earth, I guess. Now, let's move to gameplay. Where Berwick Saga borrowed a lot of what it does from Fire Emblem, Berwick Saga takes inspiration from Fire Emblem and takes those ideas to the next level. In a lot of ways, Berwick Saga feels like the natural progression of Fire Emblem, and we can only hope that future titles learn from it in some capacity. The first major difference from Fire Emblem that you will notice is the hexagonal grid system. Traditional Fire Emblem has always used a square grid. The hexagonal grid allows for more diverse terrain. Things like paths through forest, jagged rivers, and cliff faces, and rounder shaped bodies of water all make sense with hexagons. It does a lot in the way of making maps look more aesthetically pleasing, but it also has a large effect on gameplay. Protecting squishy units is now much harder. A unit may be surrounded by 3 or even 4 allies and can still be attacked, because there are always 6 spaces surrounding where your unit is placed. Beyond protecting units, it also makes it easier for your units to gang up on enemies, which is most likely going to be necessary in the early game, as almost no one can one-round KO, and those that can have shaky hit rates or gain little to no experience from getting the kill. This brings up another interesting change. Combat alone does not grant experience, only defeating or capturing enemies does. Also, healing done by priests and clerics gives a little bit of experience. With experience being so limited, growth is not as important in this game as it is in Fire Emblem. However, this does put a lot more stock into equipment and skills. Weaponry in this game is much more varied. Lances, swords, and axes all have their own strengths and weaknesses. Lances deal more damage the farther the unit moves before attacking, swords tend to be the lighter and more accurate option, and axes pack a major punch while being less accurate. On top of this, there are knives which ignore the enemy's defense, and bows and crossbows. Bows and crossbows demonstrate another odd but welcome change. Attacking from an adjacent tile with a melee weapon is considered 0 range. Bows and crossbows can attack from an adjacent tile as well, but that is considered 1 range. Finally, bows can attack from 2 range, which is a tile away from the enemy. This, coupled with the fact that units cannot counterattack if they are damaged by the enemy in battle, barring any specific skills or speed parameters being met, makes bows viable. The balanced weaponry plus the new range system does wonders in helping every unit feel unique and useful. Next, we have skills, which are utilized better here than in any game in Fire Emblem. Most skills are always active, activated by a command in the menu, or happen in a specific situation. There are still some that are luck-based like Adept, but for the most part, luck is taken out of the question. Take Dean, for example. He has the skill Desperation, which allows him to strike with 22 extra points of accuracy, but allows the enemy to counterattack with 100% accuracy and drops Dean's defense to 0. Dean, being a strong and accurate axe fighter, has this option to help him hit things with his big strength stat, but is also a little scary because he will take a lot of damage if the enemy is not defeated with the first blow. Another one of my favorite skills in the game is Death Battle. Leon here has this skill. When he activates it, he engages in 5 rounds of combat with an enemy, where both get to counterattack regardless of damage taken. It can be risky when used improperly, but it can also be tremendously rewarding. Berwick Saga feels like the direction Fire Emblem should have taken. Rather than having the watered-down experiences of the GBA games, IS should have built upon the base they made with 3CS 776. Luckily, we have Berwick Saga to play until Fire Emblem catches up. Well, that'll do it for me. My major goal in creating this video is to raise awareness for Berwick and its English translation. If you are able to help with the translation of the game, I suggest going and checking out the forum post on Serenus Forest. The link is in the description. Anyways, go play Berwick, it is way fun, and make sure to comment your thoughts and like and subscribe for more Fire Emblem discussion.